Hello and welcome to Codebreaker, where a 4-digit code stands between you and victory. I'm your Codemaster Daniel Peake, and in the virtual studio with me today are two keen, bright and eager contestants waiting to break today's code. First up on my left from Waterford in Ireland, it's Liam Davis. Hello Liam.
Hello Daniel, how are you doing?
I am very well, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited to be on this show.
I'm very happy to have you on. So, what do you do?
Well, frankly, I am a color artist on DeviantArt, and I like to watch game shows and the Eurovision Song Contest.
I will hear nothing bad against the Eurovision Song Contest. What did you think then of the change in the voting procedure last year where they essentially doubled the number of points they gave out?
Well, actually, it is actually something different because you never know the predictability of the people from the televoting and the people at the voting for the juries, because you never know.
Better for the tension?
Yeah, actually it is.
Good. And also on my left, because I still don't like to sit in the middle, from Bristol, it's Thomas Preece. Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
Hello. What do you do?
I'm a freelance web developer.
I see that you've listed in your hobbies as board games.
Yes.
Do you have many?
Just a few, just 100 or so.
Just 100?
Yeah, just.
Oh, so you're going to hate me for this question. What's your favourite board game?
Ooh, probably Cosmic Encounter. It's a classic. It's from the late 70s, but you wouldn't know it. It's really quite similar to a lot of the more modern games, and it's basically it's kind of 5 crazy, wacky alien races all battling with each other to take over the most planets and so on.
Well, welcome both of you to Codebreaker. The aim is to be the first to guess a hidden 4-digit code between 0000 and 9999. I will alternate asking quiz questions between the two of you. If you get your question correct, you may have a guess at the code, and I will tell you whether it is higher or lower than the number that you guess. However, before you have your guess, you can ask me a question about the code, and I will answer with either yes or no, and I will tell only you the answer to that question. This should help you break the code much more quickly. And note that as you're not allowed a calculator or any form of internet in front of you, it's all down to your logic and knowledge. The first of you to guess the code correctly will win and go through to play the final code. And one more thing, each of you has a reveal. If your opponent asks the question that you like the sound of, say reveal, and you will also get to hear the answer that I give to your opponent. The codes for today's show were determined before recording using random.org. I have given each of you a password-protected file containing these codes. Can I check that you have received these files?
Yes, I have.
Good. And at the end of each round, I'll ask one of you to read the contents of the files to verify that I haven't done any naughty fiddling with any of the codes. Thomas, you won the coin toss before the show and you chose to go first.
Yes, I did.
So let's begin. The category for the first 4 questions in today's show is seconds. Thomas, by area, what is the second biggest country in the world?
That'd be Canada.
Correct. Canada is correct. You are about to have a guess at the code, but before then you can now ask me a question about the code. What would you like to ask?
Is the code even?
Here's your answer.
No.
What would you like to guess for the code?
Let's start right down the middle, 5,000.
A seemingly good place to start. Is the code 5,000? No, it's not. The code is higher than 5,000. Liam, your question on seconds. Who was the second person to walk on the moon?
Was that Buzz Aldrin?
It was indeed correct. Time for you to ask me a question about the code.
Okie dokie then. Is the code between 7,000 and 8,000?
Here's your answer.
Yes.
What would you like to guess for the code?
I would like to take a guess at a 7,600, please.
Is the code 7,600? No. The code is higher than 7,600. Thomas, your question on seconds. No calculator here, and no writing it down. I want you to do this in your head. How many seconds are there in 3 hours?
In 3 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's 3,600 in 1 hour. So in 3 hours, that will be 10,800.
Well done, that's correct. Bit of mental pressure there.
A little bit.
What would you like to ask me about the code?
Is the last number of the code less than 5? So 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Here's your answer.
Yes.
What would you like to guess for the code?
Let's go with 8,750.
Is the code 8750? No, it is not. The code is lower than 8,750. Last question on seconds for you, Liam. Singing with Kelly Clarkson. Second Hand Heart was a top 25 hit in 2015, for which UK X Factor winner?
Ben Haynow.
Correct answer. Good answer. I thought that was a toughie myself. Fan of the X Factor?
That's okay, since it's been going on for some years now, and I think they should actually have a year off, I think.
What would you like to ask me about the code?
Is the code between 7,700 and 7,800?
Here's your answer.
No.
Okay.
What's your guess for the code?
Well, I'm gonna go with 7,950.
Is the code 7,950? No, it is not. The code is lower. So 4 questions in, and already we've narrowed it down a lot. You both have a reveal in play. The next category is fish. Thomas, in competitive diving, what position is described as straight knees with a tight bend at the hips?
I have no idea.
The answer is a pike. What's it got to do with a fish? A pike is a fish. I am so sorry. It's also the position where they sort of look like a shrimp, in my opinion, as they go down. That's my top tip. If you want a good pike, look like a shrimp. So no guess at the code for you there, Thomas, I'm afraid. Liam, which geographical cape, located in southeast Massachusetts, is bordered by the town of Plymouth and contains the towns of Barnstable and Provincetown?
Cod.
Correct. You now get a guess at the code, but what would you like to ask me first?
Is there an odd number in the last part of the code? The fourth number.
Is the last digit odd? Okay. Here's your answer.
Yes.
What would you like to guess for the code?
Okay, is the code 7745?
Is the code 7745? No, it is not. The code is higher than 7745. Thomas, what is the sequel called to the 2003 Pixar film Finding Nemo?
Finding Dory.
It was Finding Dory. What would you like to ask me about the code?
Is the third digit less than 5?
Here's your answer.
Yes.
What would you like to guess for the code?
I guess 7875.
Is the code 7875? No, it is not. The code is lower than 7875. Liam, last question on fish. Michael Fish was famous for saying a hurricane wasn't on the way to the UK in what year?
Oh god, isn't that 1987, isn't it?
Correct. Very, very windy. It did have hurricane force winds, but I want to stress that it was not a hurricane. To anyone listening, what hit the UK, the Great Storm in 1987, was not a hurricane. Don't call it that. I'll come round and slap you with a fish. Liam, you get to ask me a question now. What would you like to ask?
Is there a 9 in the code?
Here's your answer.
No.
Okie dokie.
What would you like to guess for the code?
I would like to go with 7,787.
Is the code 7787? No, it is not. It is higher than 7787. The next category of questions is American music. But you'll see what I mean. Thomas, in 2006, which band had a UK #1 hit with a single, America?
I don't know, unfortunately.
No guess?
Nope.
I'm afraid it would have been Razorlight. American music for you, Liam. In 1971, the band America had a hit with the single Horse with No What?
Lips?
I would like to see a horse with no lips. I'm afraid that's wrong. funny picture than it is its name.
Ah.
How will it eat? Oh,
Oh dear.
Thomas, the next question on American music for you. Complete the lyric to Don McLean's American Pie. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music... What?
Used to make me smile.
Correct. So you now get to ask me a question about the code. What would you like to ask?
Is the third digit even?
Here's your answer.
No.
What's your guess for the code?
7825.
Is the code 7825? No, I'm afraid not. It is higher than 7825. Liam, complete this lyric to Don McLean's American Pie. So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but... what?
The levee was dry.
Correct. You both know American Pie. This is good. What would you like to ask me about the code?
Okay, is there a 3 in the last number of the code?
I'd like a reveal on that one, please.
Okay, so I can tell both of you that the answer to the question is 3 the last digit. The answer is no. It is not. But Liam, you've still got a guess at the code. What would you like to guess?
Okay, 7791.
Is 7791 the code? It is not.
Oh.
It is higher than 7791. So we're down to quite a small range now. Thomas, you have used your reveal. Liam, you still have yours. The next 4 questions are about spas. Well, the answers start with SPA, spa. Thomas, what type of chicken or bird preparation involves it being split open lengthways, opened out, and then cooked?
Is that spatchcock?
That is correct. What would you like to ask me about the code?
Is the last digit 1?
Here's your answer.
Yes.
What would you like to guess for the code?
7831.
Is 7831 the code?
Ah!
Oh, I'm so sorry, Liam. Were you close?
Since the one that I wrote down here for the highest one was at 7825.
You went lower, didn't you, than 7825? And unfortunately, it was higher.
I had it narrowed down to 7831 or 7833. So when you said was the last digit 3, that solved it for me.
Well, I'm sorry, but our time here is now coming to an end. Can you please open the password-protected file? The password is not the winner. Harsh but fair.
Yep, here we are. The round code was 7831.
Thank you very much once again, Liam, for Codebreaker, and for now, it's time to say goodbye. Bye.
Thank you very much.
But for Thomas, it's time for the final code. Well done, Thomas, on getting to the final. Will you break the code, or will the code break you? We're about to find out. You now have 90 seconds to crack the final code. I will ask you quickfire general knowledge questions, and each time you get a question right, you get a guess at the code, and like before, I'll tell you whether the code is higher or lower than your guess. If you manage to guess the code within 90 seconds, you will win the jackpot, which today stands at 100 points. If you don't find the code in time, the jackpot will halve, and you get 3 more guesses against the clock, but each incorrect answer will halve the jackpot once more. And if you don't guess the code within those 3 guesses, I'm afraid it's 0 points for you. You're playing for points, as the winners of the first 5 shows of Codebreaker will be put on a leaderboard, and the top 2 contestants with the most points will then come back for the final, where the jackpot will be £100 rather than 100 points. How are you feeling?
A bit more relaxed than I was at the start of the show, so that's good.
Interesting. Jonathan, last week's winner, said he was much more nervous at this point, but I wish you the very best of luck. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Your 90 seconds starts now. Which chocolate bar shares its name with a usually disc or spiral-shaped group of stars?
Galaxy.
Correct.
5000.
Higher. Which technological company markets the Galaxy range of smartphones?
Samsung.
Correct.
7500.
Higher. Which historical scientist was played by David Bowie in the film The Prestige?
Pass.
Nikola Tesla. What colour is produced when red and blue paints are mixed?
Purple.
Correct.
8750.
Lower. Go Set a Watchman was the second and final book by which author?
Harper Lee.
Correct.
8000.
Higher. Australia is made up of how many states?
6.
8. When he converted to Islam, to what did Cassius Clay change his name?
Muhammad Ali.
Correct.
8300.
Higher. Which main swimming stroke is named after a type of insect?
Butterfly.
Correct.
8550.
Lower. Lift Me Up and Mi Chico Latino were UK number ones for which former Spice Girl?
Pass.
Jerry Halliwell. In C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia, what is the name of the lion?
Aslan.
Correct.
8450.
It's lower. The word bungalow is derived from languages from which country?
India.
Correct.
8375.
Lower. How many times must a black ball be potted in a perfect 1-4-7 break in a game of snooker?
17.
16. Which sign of the zodiac comes between Libra and Sagittarius? And that's
Scorpio.
time. It would have been Scorpio, but then you'd have had to have a guess as well, and that would have been well out of time. Going back through your answers, I'm going to have to give you the benefit of the doubt on one of the questions. I asked, Australia has how many states? Now, it has 6 states and 2 territories, technically. My answer was 8, but 2 of them are territories. There's the Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Territory. So technically 6 are states, and you said 6, so you're technically correct. So I'm happy for you to have one more guess and count that within the 90 seconds. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
What is your guess for the code?
I'll guess 8337.
The code is higher than 8337. So sadly, you weren't able to break the code in 90 seconds. The jackpot now halves to 50 points. You've got 3 more chances to try and break the code, but the jackpot will halve with every incorrect guess that you now give. So for 50 points, what is your next guess?
8356.
Is the code 8356? No. The code is lower than 8356. The jackpot has halved to 25 points. What's your second guess for the code?
8346.
Okay. Is the code 8346? No, I'm afraid not. It's lower than 8346. This is it, 12.5 points or nothing, your final guess for the code. What is it?
Let's go with 8341.
I can reveal the code is 8344.
Oh.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You were incredibly close.
Yeah, it was close.
Just an unlucky lucky final guess there.
Yeah.
Well, let's put you up on the leaderboard. You've got a range of just 4 numbers left there, so I think you did quite well. You are second.
Yay.
We have only had 2 shows, but you are second.
Yeah.
Do you think it's enough to stay on the leaderboard in the top 2?
I can only hope so, I guess.
Well, I will keep my fingers crossed for you and all the other contestants so that I remain unbiased. Finally, can you please open the password protected file and verify today's final code? The password is, I really hate needlessly long passwords.
Yep, it's 8344.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Commiserations once again, and I hope to speak to you soon.
Thanks, bye.
For the latest info on Codebreaker, follow us on Twitter at CodebreakerQuiz. I've been Daniel Peake, and join me next time when 2 more Codebreakers will put their skill and logic to the test. Goodbye.